Last week, Onyx announced two new e-readers for Western markets, the Boox Leaf 2 and the Boox Nova Air 2. Let's have a look at the specs of those e-readers and see if it makes sense to pre-order them. The Boox Leaf 2 is a new 7-inch e-reader which on first glance resembles the Kindle Oasis and other asymmetrical e-readers. In contrast to the first Boox Leaf, the new model now has page turn buttons directly integrated into the device. With the previous model, those buttons were integrated into the optionally available case. I always love to see the addition of physical page turn buttons in an e-reader, but I'm a bit skeptical of the buttons design here, because they are almost seamlessly close together and pretty small, so it might be hard to hit the right button without looking. Another somewhat debatable decision are the different screen designs of the black and white model. The black model has a flush front, while the white model is sporting a sunken screen design, as Onyx is calling it. So the white model's display is recessed into the body, which is totally fine and actually a great option to have, because that usually means text is a little bit sharper. But I am sure that having two different screen designs within the same model line will lead to confusion. Not knowing this when wanting to buy a Leaf 2 and just going by color could lead to a surprise when unboxing the e-reader. What's very interesting is the weight difference between both color versions. The black Leaf 2 with the flush design is 185 grams, and the white version with the recessed screen is only 170 grams. So a 15 grams difference just because of the screen design, which I honestly wouldn't have guessed that it would be this big. Another new feature is the addition of a microSD card slot. So it's possible to expand the 32 gigs of internal storage, which is great because Android 11 on Onyx Boox devices takes up a lot of space, which was one of my biggest issues with the Boox Poke 4 Lite I have reviewed a couple of weeks ago. Besides having a microphone, the e-reader also has dual speakers. The rest of the specs are pretty much the same as on the previous model, which were very nice to begin with. The 7-inch screen still has a resolution of 300 ppi. At this point, it's not clear if it uses InCutter 1200, since none of the specs or press material on the Boox website mentions it. So at the moment, I'd say it's the same technology as last year. Of course, there's a built-in front light with color temperature adjustment as well. And the battery capacity of 2000 mAh is pretty good for an e-reader of that size. So all in all, the Onyx Boox Leaf 2 looks like a very nice e-reader, and with a price of $200 US or 240 euros, it's priced okay in my opinion. So it will be interesting to see how well it does in the real world. Stay tuned for the full review when the device is released. The second new e-reader is the Onyx Boox Nova Air 2, which is more of a head scratcher because I can't spot any changes to the previous model. It's again an e-reader with note-taking capabilities via a pen. The Nova Air 2 has a 7.8-inch display with a 300 ppi resolution. Again, no mention of InCutter 1200, so I'd say it's safe to assume it's the same cutter technology as last year. And like I said, I can't really spot any major differences to the previous model. It still has 32 gigs of internal storage, an octa-core Qualcomm CPU, 3 gigs of RAM, a dual speaker setup, and built-in microphone, and a 2000 mAh battery. As of now, according to the spec sheet on the official website, the Nova Air 2 also has exactly the same size and weight as the Air 1. As far as I can tell, it's basically the exact same device as before, except that it now comes with Android 11 instead of 10. And honestly, if that's the only difference, I have to say it's not a great deal. Because for $340 US or 390 euros, it's quite pricey for a 7.8-inch e-reader. You can get a Kindle Scribe with a 10.2-inch 300 ppi screen for that price. Onyx doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to Android upgrades, but I really hope that they will be upgrading the Nova Air 1 to Android 11 as well, because having an almost identical device to last year and not updating that one feels a bit like a slap in the face to the owners of the previous model in my opinion. So that's it. I will definitely review the Leaf 2, which seems to be a very interesting device, but I'm not sure yet if I will check out the Nova Air 2 as it's such a minor upgrade for that price that it doesn't seem to make much sense, to be honest. Like and subscribe if you found the summary useful, and see you in the next one.